Pastor T here. Just wanted to get with you for a few minutes and share with you a leadership principle that I came across today in my devotional time. And it's out of Genesis chapter 25, verses 29 through 34, where Jacob basically conned Esau out of his birthright with a bowl of lentil soup. And the other one is later on in Genesis 27, verse 1 through 30, where Rebekah helps Jacob deceive Isaac out of Esau's blessing. So the second part is out of Genesis chapter 27, verses 1 through 30, where Jacob's mother helps him swindle the blessing out of his dad that rightly belonged to Esau. And if you remember, what happened there was that Jacob got dressed up like his brother and put on a fur on him so that his dad would not recognize him being Jacob, because Esau was a very hairy guy. And his mother fixed a meal of meat for him with meat on it in it. And so he came to the tent. His dad said, "Well, your voice is not like Esau's, but let me feel you," because he couldn't see. He was so old. And he felt his arm, and sure enough, he felt the fur and thought it was his son Esau, so he blessed him. Now, this is so, horribly met by Esau, because he just realized that his brother just swindled him out of his birthright. Then he swindled him out of the blessing, which was a huge thing, and both of them were huge. And so now he got mad and he wanted to kill his brother Jacob. So what we're going to talk about today, though, is as leaders we have influence, and everybody has some amount of influence, but as leaders we have probably a little bit more, maybe a lot more than most have, because we're in positions or people see us as leaders. And I want to talk about the different types of influence we can have on people, or we can use, and some are positive, some are negative. And the Bible tells us that Jacob influenced the birthright away from his brother Esau, and a little later Rebekah helped Jacob to influence the best blessing out of his father for Jacob. And it took influence to bring both events to pass. And a person can wield influence in many ways. So I want to look at 7 different ways, and we're going to start off with really the worst way to wield your influence. And number 1 is by force. And by using force, the use of physical strength to influence others. That is when we say, you know what, if you don't do this, I'm going to hurt you, or if you do this, I will hurt you. We use force to actually bring about a change or get that person to do something, or we make them pay for something they did. The second thing is intimidation, which is bullying others verbally or emotionally to get them to act against their will. And, intimidation, a lot of people use intimidation with our words and stuff, because we want somebody to do something. And it's really verbal abuse is what it is. I call it bullying. And we get them to feel bad or scared or whatever. And that should not be. The third type is manipulation. Now, this is coercing others to act, sometimes against their will. Manipulation is used a lot in leadership circles, and unfortunately in churches. Intimidation is used in churches in leadership, which is really not good. And so we want to make sure we're not trying to manipulate people with our words. The fourth thing is exchange, which is giving something in order to receive from others. That is the old saying, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. We make deals, to get people to do stuff. That's another type of influence. The fifth type is persuasion, which is the use of verbal skills to move someone to action. Persuasion is when some people that have the gift of persuasion. They could sell ice to an Eskimo. They can, get people to do things that, wow, they persuaded that person to do that with their words. They said things that actually influence that person. The next thing is motivation, which is energizing others so that they want to act. Motivation is actually encouraging people, and really it's a pretty good form of influence, and it energizes people to do things that really they should do. A lot of times, of course, sometimes they could use it for negative things. The last thing is honor, and this is communicating esteem to others by serving them and thus inspiring them to act. And this is the highest form of influence. And the way we see how God tried to influence us to live for him was not that he just threw the Bible down here and had somebody read it to us and say, go ahead and live like that. But he actually came down in the form of man, and he showed us, he served us. Jesus said, I didn't come to be served, I came to serve and to be an example to you, to show you how you should be with each other and how much God loves you, that he wants to serve you. And so we communicate esteem to others by showing them they are valuable by serving them. And when someone feels valued by us, they are motivated naturally to help us or to do something for us. And so what we want to do is we want to add value to people. We don't want to devalue them with our words or even with our actions. Our actions speak very loudly. If somebody means something to you, you will call them or you'll do something for them or whatever. You'll think about them. And not that you can every single time, but it's like, we have to actually do something and serve somebody, and that is the highest form of influence. People are more motivated by that, and that is what we call honor. And so what I want us to understand as leaders is that more than anything else, we should gain people's honor by doing something for them, serving them. And that's what I want our church to be, a church of serving people into the kingdom. Why? Am I some crazy pastor that just wants to do this? No, I am listening to Jesus and his words. And he says, if you want to be greatest among men, you must be servant of all. And then people will be motivated to build the kingdom with you. And so let's remember that. And let's remember that if Jesus served us to the point of death, we can serve him with our life. So I want to encourage you today, if you're a leader at our church, do something, serve in some area, serve someone in our church or even in your community, and you will gain their respect, and that you will inspire them to do the right things and not just tell them to do the right things, but they will see it in you. So until next time, God bless you. Hope you have a great day.